GetintheMix.
Hello and welcome back to Getting the Mix. My name's Jake and today we're going to be going over the X1. We're down here again in the brand new showroom, so feel free to pop down if you want to get any more information on any products or want a demonstration or anything at all. Our sales guys are always here to help. So the product today we're going to be looking at is the X1, which is the effects and transport control series, part of the F1 and the Z1, which are the smaller controllers which we're doing a series on at the moment. So check out the other videos first if you haven't seen them already. So what we'll do firstly is we'll have a look at the effects side of the X1 and then we'll go down and have a look at the transport control and the browse features. So let's jump straight in. Okay, so this video here we're going to do is a very quick short video on the X1. We'll do a quick overview first we did in the previous one, and then we'll quickly go through and show you what the shift functions can do on the X1. So the first thing I want to go into is the top part, which is the effects control. You've got left and right effects of bank 1 and bank 2, 4 rotaries and 4 buttons. If you're using the effects in single mode, you will have the on-off switch, which will turn the unit on and off, your dry and wet knob, and then 3 parameter controls, which also have their own individual buttons as well. So if you're using like the delay that I've got set up here at the moment, this is just a quick example, you can turn that on there, control the dry and wet amount, and then you've got a filter, so you can actually determine whether or not you're going to delay the low end or the high end. And then if you've got it set at a certain point but you don't want it there anymore, you can just quickly hit the reset, and that will reset the whole unit back to its beginning. It will turn the unit off, and then basically you're good to start from the beginning. Below that you have the feedback, so you can control the amount of feedback you're going to be putting through, and you can also freeze and basically hold what section you're currently delaying, and you can manipulate it a little bit more. And then the last one down the bottom is the rate. So generally you would have it going up in quarter notes, and if you hit the button down here you can actually change it to a rate, which for all you techno DJs out there, this is definitely a feature you want to be looking into. But we can go into more detail on the effects, the different types of effects and the way you can use them in a later video. So just below that, another quick overview, you've got the way to control which side you're going to be sending the effects to, whether that's left or right, none at all, or both. Browse button to control through the different features, so different tracks that you've got. And if you hold the shift button whilst you're turning the browse button, you can then actually go through the different trees, so your track collection, you can scroll through your playlist, let go, and you can actually go into that playlist in particular. On the either side of the shift button, you have your load buttons, so that will load left deck, load right deck, and then you've got loop encoders here. So as you can see, if it's flashing, your loop's engaged, you turn it off, and your loop's no longer engaged, and that just tells you the length of the loop. You can go from all the way down from 132s up to a full 32 bar loop. If you hold the shift button whilst using the loop encoder, you can scan through the track dependent on what you've got it set. So if you've got it set down on 2 bars, you can just scroll through very nicely on 2 bars and get to the point you need to be. So that brings us down to the next part, which is the touch strip here, which is very good if you've got the track paused and you just want to scan through and try and find where you need to get to. You can scan through like so, or again, holding the shift button while scanning through, you can actually do needle search and go right to the point of the track you need, and then get it locked in, put a cue point down, and then you're good to go. Below that you have your standard hot cue buttons here, 4 set up ready to go. The first one, as always, is generally your beat grid, and then the other 3 you can put down as a custom one. So at the moment I've just got some loops set up on here ready to go. On this side, this is more controlling a remix deck, but we'll go into how you can actually use this to control a remix deck in a more in-depth video with a few other products. Below that again you have the transport control with flux, sync, cue and play, and on here basically you can use the flux, which is like a slip mode for people that use Pioneer, so the track will keep running if you've got a loop locked in here, and then when you release it, it will go back to where you're playing originally. So what we'll do now is quickly have a look at the shift features. So if you're holding shift and you come across and you press the first button here, that will simply change the mode. So at the moment it's set in a single, so if we press that, it will then go to group, and basically that means these now become their own individual effects. So you can have, at the moment we've got set up a delay, a reverb and a flanger, and then similar to like what happened on this side. You no longer have the on off, but you've still got your dry and wet, individual on and off buttons for each individual individual effect, and the parameter control. Below that, on each individual button, you can see that there's effects 1, effects 2, and effects 3 as a shift feature. And basically all that does is you scroll through the whole way through the list of effects. So the way this can be used really well is if you condense down your effects list, which I'll show you in another video, you can actually then just use this if you're doing a set and you know what order you want your effects to come up in. You can just scroll through to a particular point when you're in your set, and say for instance you're halfway through and you think, okay, the next effect's going to be a reverb, push that in and it will bring it straight through to the reverb. Down the bottom there's a couple more shift features. So the first one to look at is the sync. Basically, as you know, sync on and off. If you hold shift, you can then make this track the master track if it's playing. And then on this side here you have a tap feature. So if you want to tap out the BPM and you haven't got any other way of doing it and you just want a really easy way to get the BPM locked in, you can just simply tap away whilst holding the shift and that will lock in the tempo. So that's a very quick overview on the X1. As I said, we will go into more in depth on the different features such as the effects and the ways you can use them and manipulate them in further videos. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe if you did enjoy the videos. Leave any comments down below and we'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. If you'd like to come down for any more information or any in-depth sort of tutorials, or you'd like to have a play on any of the equipment, feel free to pop down to the showroom. And once again, as I said, the sales guys are always here to help. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe as always, and have a good day. Thank you very much.